I bought this three-legged thing, Winston 2.0 tripod, about a week and a half before lockdown happened. So I only managed to get out with it twice before the landscape photography came to a stop. I did use it quite a lot in my home photography projects that I did during lockdown, but I wanted to wait until I'd used it on a few landscape photography shoots before I did a review. And I've done that now, so in this video I'm going to do a review, talk a bit about what I like about this, and maybe a couple of things that I'm not so sure about. I hope you'll enjoy it. Hi everyone, thank you for joining me. Okay, so this is the tripod that I bought at the beginning of March, just before lockdown. It's the second version, or 2.0 version, of Three-Legged Things Pro Range Winston tripod. And I said I managed to get out with it twice before lockdown. I used it quite a lot in my home office and on my balcony for some of my lockdown photography activities, but it's only really been in the last couple of weeks that I've been able to get out and use it for landscape photography. So I now feel I can do an early review of it. I will do another review on this probably sometime around next March or April, when it's been through a whole year of use and winter and all the rest of it. But hopefully this review will at least give some ideas about this tripod. Now, if you're new to the channel, landscape photography is what this channel is normally about. I'm normally out doing photo shoots in different outdoor locations. So if you like that kind of thing, then don't forget to hit subscribe before you go. Check out more of my work. Okay, let's talk about Winston. Winston is a three-leg section, 1, 2, 3, carbon fibre tripod. It has twist locks. It has a center column which you can extend, or if you so choose you can remove completely. More on that a little bit later. If you buy it as the kit, it comes with the, I think it's the Airhead Pro, which is a pretty straightforward, simple ball head. I've got some specs here on it, so I'll just share those with you. Just give me a second to get them up on the phone. So, the height of this tripod on level ground, it's not quite on level ground at the moment, to the top here with the center column in but down, is 1.54 meters or 60.5 inches. If you put the column all the way up, it goes up to 1.94 meters or 76.4 inches. If you take the center column out, it does just drop the height down a fraction to 1.5 meters or 59 inches. Now then, let's have a look. If you put the legs all the way down with the center column in, the lowest you can get is, let's have a look, about 70 centimeters or 27.5 inches. I've measured that, but that's about the lowest you can get with this center column in. If you take it out, you can spread the legs all the way out and you can get it down to 31 centimeters. That can't be right. No, about 9 inches. So basically you can get it pretty much to that height. That can't be, 31 centimeters can't be right. I'll put the corrected number up here. If you stow it the way that I normally do, which is with the legs collapsed but the head still up, it comes in at 75 centimeters or 29.5 inches. But unusually for this type of, or this size of tripod, this has got a feature that you normally only see on small travel tripods, which is you can fold the legs up and reverse it around completely, in which case it comes in at 61 centimeters or 24 inches. So it's not too bad for traveling purposes. The total kit with the center column, with the head, comes in at 2.05 kilos, which is 4.51 pounds. And all of those specs are available on the Three-Legged Thing website for this, and I'll stick a link in the video description to that website so you can have a look at it if you want to. Now let's talk about whether or not I like this tripod, or more importantly what I like about it and if there's anything I don't like about it. Before I do that, let me just say that I bought this tripod. It's not been given to me in exchange for doing a positive review. I'm not being paid or otherwise incentivized by anybody to do a positive review of this tripod. I will say that I do like Three-Legged Thing as a company, and immediately before I bought this, for the year, 12 months before I bought this tripod, I was using one of their travel tripods, the Three-Legged Thing Brian tripod. Interesting names they have, but Brian was the travel tripod I was using. I used that for a year, and I actually did a review of that tripod immediately when I bought this one, actually. And I've actually still got Brian. It's actually holding up the video camera right now. And if you want to just check out that review, if you're looking for a lightweight travel tripod, I'll stick a link to that up there now. So, what do I like about this tripod? Well, first thing is, I'll just collapse it up a little bit. So straight out of the box, it's quite an attractive looking bit of kit. It does come in two different colour schemes, and I can't remember what they're called, but again I'll put that on the video, at least what this one is. I should have mentioned actually, it has another unusual feature. All three legs can be unscrewed and removed, which means you can use the legs as like a monopod or something like that, or you can buy extra feet to go on here, so you can end up with like a tabletop tripod. I haven't got those, but you could do that. So I digress. This, yeah, it looks nice. It has a nice feel to it. It feels nice and solid. The leg locks are very positive. You only need really half a turn, 3/4 of a turn. They're big and chunky, so you can get a good grip on them if you're wearing gloves, but to be honest, you don't really need much of a grip. Like I say, half, 3/4 of a turn. So locked, unlocked, extend, just tweak it back up, and that is absolutely solid. That's not going anywhere. So very, very solid in terms of the leg locks. You can very easily just take these leg locks apart, disassemble the tripod and give it a clean, which I think is really important if, like me, you're doing lots of kind of seascape stuff where you're getting salt and sand in there, just to be able to break it down and give it a thorough clean without a lot of hassle and without a lot of special tools. You've got the same basic mechanism on the center column, same type of lock, and again, it works really well and positively. Let's just extend everything up again so we can extend it up. I know a lot of people don't like twist locks, and I used to hate them based on an earlier tripod that I had with them, where they never seemed to actually be very positive. But these ones and the ones on the Brian tripod that I had are really, really good and solid. Okay, so the ball head, just two controls on here. One for the ball mechanism, and then one does the pan. And then we've got a really simple, just a vice grip style Arca Swiss plate on here. There's no friction control on here. and I don't miss that. I actually had a friction control on one of my old tripods, and I'm convinced that it was that friction control that caused all the problems I had with that head. This one, you just tweak it off. You know, you can kind of control the friction a little bit by how much you tweak it off, and then just give it a quick tweak to tighten it up. And if you want to shoot panos or something like that, the pan on it is really smooth. It's very, very nice. I like the fact that you can take the centre column out easily, and you can do that in the field. And all you have to do realistically is take a little screw out the bottom, stick that in my pocket, and then you undo this, slide it out, you take this off, unscrew the centre column like that, and then all you do, pop that on there like that, and then just tweak, make sure that these are aligned with the gaps in the legs. Just tweak that nut up there, and that's nice and secure. And that's how quick and easy it is to take that centre column out in the field, so that if you want to, you can easily just pop the legs right out. Try not to hit myself in the face with them in the process. Like that, and you can see that's how low down to the ground you can get this if you want to. And I like that. I like the fact that it's easy to do in the field, doesn't require any tools. There's not, you don't need to carry a screwdriver or other bits and pieces around with it. It's nice and simple. The all-important thing with a tripod is just how stable is it. And this is really stable. With or without the centre column in, it's really, really solid. Once you get it, extended out and locked in, it's nice and solid. And the proof of that for me was that during the lockdown period, I did some photography using my 150 to 600 lens on this tripod, and no problem at all with any camera shake or anything like that. So I was shooting 150 to 600 at 600 millimeters, photographing a kestrel, photographing the supermoon, and doing a kind of a street photography arty type shot, which was slightly longer exposures. Held up perfectly. Now I will confess I haven't used this in very strong winds or in any adverse conditions, but based upon the feel of it, I don't think I'm going to have any problems. Of course, if I do, when I do another review in March or April next year, I'll be sharing that. But at the moment, really, really happy with it. So, are there any things about it that I'm not so happy with? There are a couple of things that they're minor annoyances, not even that if I'm going to be honest, but when you're doing a review you do tend to try to find at least some negative things to say. And what I will say is these feet on the end here are pretty small. So what happens is, if you've got the bottom leg sections all the way in, and then you're in rocky ground or whatever, if you're not careful, the weight of the tripod ends up sitting on the leg locks instead of on the foot. Now you can buy different kinds of feet to go on here. They do like a claw foot, a spike foot, but I can't help but feel that what it really needs is maybe just a slightly bigger, rounder foot that would just screw in, because these feet just screw in here. But a slightly bigger, rounder foot would be nice, just for those times when you don't want to extend the bottom leg out and when you're operating with, you know, uneven ground and gaps and rocks and that kind of thing. I must admit, what I just tend to do is, when I'm doing that, I just tend to extend the bottom leg out just a little bit, maybe not even that far, just like that, just so that I know that that's the bit that's taking the weight rather than it's sitting on the leg locks. It's really minor, and I have contacted Three Legged Thing and asked them if they got any plans to make something like this, and they've kind of said, well, not really, but you know, we'll see. The other thing that was a minor annoyance, when I first started using this, I used it like this with the centre column removed, and what I noticed was, after just a few times of using it, sometimes within the same day, these hinges here would start to work loose. Now, it's not a problem because you do actually get a little tool that comes with the tripod, like a little multi-tool, so you can just tweak it up if it does start to come loose. But I found it was coming loose a bit quicker than I would have expected. When I decided to put the centre column back in, I decided to do that because I actually find that having the ability to just get that little bit of extra height is really useful in this kind of terrain that I live in. Like in my last shoot, where I had to have the tripod legs fully extended on a sort of a rough rocky slope, but I needed some extra height to get some foreground distractions out of the way. So I find it useful to have the centre column in. By the way, if you haven't seen that video, I'll stick a link to that up there now. I find it useful to have it in for that purposes. But what happened is, when I actually put it back in, I suddenly realised that the problem with the legs coming loose had actually stopped happening. And I think what happens is, when you haven't got the centre column in, it's really easy to just overfold the legs, you know. So you sort of go, oh no, don't like it at that, put it back. And I think that action of pushing the leg that bit further in just takes it to the point where it starts to unscrew a little bit. And if there was just a little tiny stop here that kind of stopped it from going beyond about that point, because you're never really going to want it to go more than that, just a little stop in there, that would solve that problem. The reason I think that's what the problem is because I experimented by taking the centre column out of the Brian tripod, and lo and behold, exactly the same thing happened with that. So that is probably the only things that I would say have been, you know, less than 100%, and they're really, really minor. And as I said, I have contacted Three Legged Thing about both of them. I don't think they're, obviously putting a stop in here is not something that they're going to be doing on a on an existing model, but I just suggested they might want to think about it for a future model. Whether they will or not, I don't know. If I'm the only person that seems to have the issue, then maybe they won't. And as for the feet, well, again, we'll wait and see. It's not a big issue. This is not a premium price tripod. It's not a budget price tripod. But for the money, I think this is an excellent tripod. I'm really happy with it. I've really enjoyed shooting with it so far, and I'm hoping I'm going to continue being happy shooting with it for another, well, I don't know how long. I guess if you keep watching the channel, you'll get to see. So, that's it. I'm happy with it. If you're interested in a tripod of this kind of size and style, maybe you would be too. If not, you can always look at others. As for me, I'm now going to go off and start looking at some possible locations for an evening shoot here. I've got about 3 hours to just scout around and have a look and see what I can find, so hopefully I'll find something to do. But that is going to be for the next video, so if you want to see that, you're going to have to tune in for the next video. I hope you've enjoyed this one. If you have, give it a like, share it on social media, leave me a comment, let me know what you think, maybe share your experiences with this tripod or with another tripod if you like. And don't forget about subscribing if you're not already a subscriber. So until that next video, thank you very much for watching, I really appreciate it. Bye.